Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is really good. I still don't have a great voice. Went to a concert. You can go watch yesterday's video about that. But I feel good today for a particular reason, and that is when I stepped on the bathroom scale today. After my morning routines, when I stepped on the bathroom scale today, it read 200 pounds. Now, that wasn't necessarily a goal. It was somewhat part of a goal. If you rewind back to the beginning of January, where I talked about things I've been trying lately. Again, not a resolution. I don't really do the whole resolution thing, but I do. Continuous improvement, right? Em and I are getting married soon. I think most of you know that. The wedding is soon. None of you are invited. That's all. We're going out of country for the wedding. So anyway, the point is, in January I decided I can't look the way that I looked then for this wedding. I'm already old. People already think she's my daughter. We have a 17-year age gap. She looks younger than she is. She looks like she's in school still, and so I didn't want to go to the wedding looking like a typical, I don't want to say groomer, but that's kind of what it feels like sometimes, right? Like I feel like I don't want to be that creepy old guy. I never, it's already weird. It's already weird enough for everybody else. It's not weird for us. We're very cool with it. It's weird for me a little bit because I'm in love with M. M in particular. I am not in any. I'm not. I've always been attracted to women who are older than me, and so it's strange for me to be in a relationship with a much younger woman, but she is emotionally and mentally much older than even I am, right? And so I'm in love with them. But I don't. I'm not looking for. I didn't expect myself to be in this kind of midlife crisis, marrying the young, hottie or whatever. So I can't look the part. Like I can't look like that. Oh yeah, he's got a young wife. Like you know what I mean. So I started to lose weight, intentionally losing weight, not doing anything drastic. I still do morning exercises, but the morning exercises that I do, it's like 10 to 15 minutes. That's all I do, and it's all core, like back exercises and ab exercises to strengthen I don't want to have back pain anymore. I don't. It's not like I've hit my 40s and suddenly I have back pain. I hit my 40s, and suddenly I do have, like, once a year I turn wrong, and then I'm, incapacitated for a couple of weeks. So I'm trying to eliminate that by doing a very limited. I don't do a whole lot of cardio. Like I'm just doing this. And so I decided in January that I was going to just cut calories because at that point I realized, you know what, I'm still fasting. I've been doing intermittent fasting now for almost 5 years. Pretty close to it, actually. It was probably 5 years this fall. When Em and I first met, I was a little over 250 pounds. I'm now at 200. In January, I was at 220. So I've lost 20 pounds since January. The intermittent fasting helped me lose those 30 pounds. I actually was down to probably 210 at one point, and then I've come back. I came, over the last probably the last year, it went back up. And when I got to 220, I was like, I don't want to do this again. Like, this isn't cool. And it just comes down to I still fast. I'm still only eating lunch and dinner about 8 hours apart. I usually try to eat around 11:30, and then I eat between 6 and 7:30. But what I found myself doing over the last year was having a little snack throughout the day. I would have a granola bar, or I would have some chips, or I would have this. And then what I'd find is like, oh, that wasn't, I need a little bit more. And then I was eating larger portions than I should. And so January, I just stopped all of that. Nothing else has changed. I've just been eating smaller portions at lunch and dinner and no snacking in between. If I do have a snack in between, it's going to be like just maybe 6 or 7 almonds. Almonds are really good for reflux, and I have reflux from time to time. So if I have a snack, it's just to help control my reflux. I haven't changed anything else. Yeah, and I'm down to 200. I don't know that I'm done. Maybe, I mean, I plan on just continuing. I'm obviously not going to let myself get underweight. But when I got out of the military, so I got out of the military in 2001, so 22 years ago is when I got out of the military. I was 190. So I was 10 pounds lighter than I am now. And I was much stronger then, physically stronger, because I had done so much working out than I am right now. So this extra 10 pounds, muscle weighs more than fat. I think that's true. It's not strength. It's just weight. And so I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna. I to say that I don't ever snack is a lie. I do sometimes, but and there are days when I will have more food than I should. And what I'll do is just kind of take it easy for the next couple of days. And it's been working really well. It's actually not a struggle at all to diet like this. And I don't even really consider it dieting. It's just eating intelligently, right? It's just being thoughtful about what I'm eating. And I'm not necessarily even eating healthier. This past couple of weeks I have, because we had a whole lot of softball, and I started taking food to softball instead of eating like concession stand food or just getting fast food on the way home. I would just take some chicken wraps or whatever, and so that inadvertently was helping me eat. But we don't normally eat out that often anyway. Like when my kids are here, so every other week, probably not even every time they're here, but every other time. So like once a month we'll order pizza in. Sometimes we'll go to a local hibachi place. And in there, I'm really just having chicken and veggies. I'm not going crazy there. Em and I go to Mexican sometimes. So we'll eat out a few times a month, probably 5 times a month. Or, on a heavy month, we're eating out. 10 of our meals will be eating out. Everything else is I cook every day. I cook my lunch. I cook my dinners, And so we don't eat like morons anyway. I just was eating too much, It's really easy to overeat when you're packing in, we eat a lot of potatoes. She loves mashed potatoes, so I make a lot of mashed potatoes. It's really easy to grab a massive mound of mashed potatoes. You don't realize that spoonful of mashed potatoes is 500 calories when you've got, that's your entire day's caloric intake is in a mound of mashed potatoes. And so it's been good. It's been really good. And we were both kind of looking through our phones yesterday. We're kind of, our first date was on May 1st. So we were talking about that in yesterday. We were both going through our phones, and I was looking at pictures of myself during that time, and I was just like, good for me. I can't, I've always been skinny. I'm that guy that becomes skinny fat, meaning that my face fattens in my midsection, but my arms and legs never got fat. So I looked weird, and I just didn't like it much. And I'm not looking for praise. I'm just here to say, if you are on a goal to lose weight, for me, like 200 pounds isn't necessarily a milestone. I just thought it was a cool number. Like, hey, I hit it, I'm not necessarily on I want to lose X amount of weight. I'm more on a journey of I want to get rid of, my belly and get my love handles, get them thinner. I want to make my face a little thinner. It's more or less appearance than it is anything else. The weight is just a number. Like that probably does translate pretty well if I tracked my weight and viewed myself simultaneously. I could see that change. But the point is, I think that as Americans, we often don't really understand what a portion is. And maybe look into it a little bit. Like, look into how much you're eating. It might be a problem. And it's not that difficult to cut, you know? Yeah, you'll be hungry for a couple of days because your body is used to having these, you know, huge stomachfuls of food, and now you're going to eat just smaller portions. Your stomach's not going to feel as full, but it'll shrink down some, and you'll get used to it again. And so it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks where you're hungry a lot. For me, I was hungry quite a bit for actually probably a month, and that's okay. Like, it wasn't debilitating. It wasn't like I'm starving. It was like, man, I could eat, but I kept telling myself no, and now that's not even an issue. I don't feel really hungry much at all, and I think that it's not a difficult goal. And if you're like me and you enjoy winning, it's a win that you get over yourself. Like, I'm gonna win, not my stomach, not my, you know, whatever. I get to win. I get to have self-control. I get to be like, haha, I showed you, buddy. Even though I'm doing it to myself. So, you know, set something in your head and go for it, I think, is the real thing. You'll find that it's not that difficult. Maybe just fear was stopping you. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is quotidian, and is an adjective meaning familiar, commonplace, nothing out of the ordinary. Despite closets full of the latest Parisian couture, Allison's quotidian complaint is that she has nothing to wear. Quotidian. Quotidian. How does the word quote fit into quotidian? Because it has nothing to do with quoting anything. Familiar, commonplace. Or does, like, quote, the word quote come from the same kind of root of familiar or commonplace?